All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go back to yesterday's notes. We're going to use those two examples. We're not going to rewrite the words because there was a lot of words on it, but I'm going to just pull it up. So these were the two at the bottom of page 39 from yesterday, and I'll give you page 39 if you need to later. So it says, suppose your class sells gift wrap for $4 a package and greeting cards for $10 per package. Your class sells 205 packages and receives a total of $1,084. So anytime we're asked to write an equation, we want to write it like this. So we have our first number and then x and then plus our second number and y. So I like to write it out like this, and then you can just fill in the blanks. And this number over here is always your total amount. So I'm going to label this as your total. So whatever total amount of money, whatever total amount of tickets, that's going to be on the other side of this equation. So both of your equations are going to look like this. So for number one, we'll look at our numbers and we'll see what we're going to plug in for this one. So it says $4 per package, $10 per package. So the first blank, we're going to put in the 4. The second blank, we're going to put in the 10. So right now we're just talking about money. So we have 4x plus 10y is equal to the total. So how much money in total did we receive? Yep, that number right there is what we're going to put for our total amount. 1,048. Oh, 84. My bad. 84. Dyslexic brain. Okay, now we have to write our other equation. So we're talking about two things here. We're talking about the gift wrap and we're talking about greeting cards. So it doesn't tell us how many things of gift wrapped and how many things of greeting cards. It just says that we sell a total of 205. So let's assume that we sell one of those gift wraps, so 1x, and then one of the greeting cards, 1y, and we sold a total of 205 of those, whether it's so many of the greeting cards or so many of the gift wraps. So we just don't know those values yet. So now we're looking at the 1 and the 4 and the 10 and the 1. Neither of those have the same coefficient. So I need to do what we were doing yesterday. We're going to put the second equation in parentheses and we're going to multiply it by some number so that these two numbers are the same or these two numbers are the same. So we can pick. Would you guys rather eliminate x or y? It doesn't really matter. You just choose. Let's eliminate y. So what number do I need to multiply 1 by to turn it into a 10? I need to multiply by 10. So we're going to put a little 10 out here. And we're going to multiply each one of those numbers by 10. So 1 times 10 is 10. So this turns into 10x plus 10y. And then we have to do 205 times 10, which a good just mental math thing, it's going to be 205 with an extra 0 at the end. That's how you multiply things by 10. So it's going to be 2,050 is what the total is going to be. Now we're going to keep the first equation exactly the way it was. So this one's still going to be 4x plus 10y is equal to 1,084. So what we did there is now we have that those 10y's are going to eliminate. So since they're the same, we're going to subtract the rest of our values. So 4 minus 10, that's going to give us negative 6x. The 10s are going to cancel, so you can kind of cross those out. And then we have 1,084 minus 2,050, and I'll type that into the calculator really quick. So that gives us negative 966. So now we're just ready to do all the opposite stuff. So the opposite of multiply by negative 6 would be to divide by negative 6. So we do the same sequence of steps, it's just the numbers are slightly different. And if you type that into the calculator, we get x is equal to 161. So that's our first part of the solution. Now that we have what our x is equal to, we're going to go back to one of our original equations. So we'll go back to that top equation, 4x, but instead of x, we're going to substitute the number 161 in. So that's that second part to be able to solve for our other variable. So that's equal to 1084. And after I do my multiplication, then it's just doing all of the opposites. So 4 times 161, I have to do that in the calculator. That is 644. I'm going to bring down my plus 10y, and my equals 1084. Everything else stays the same. Now I got to do the opposite of add 644. So I'm going to subtract 644 on both sides. And we can use a calculator for that. So 1084 minus 644, that gives us 440. Bring down your 10y, and that's equal to 440. And then we do the opposite of multiply by 10, which is divide by 10. So 440 divided by 10 is 44. So y is equal to 44. And then I just have to write my solution as an ordered pair. My x value comes first, so 161. And then my y value comes second, 44. So that means I sold 161 gift wraps, and I sold 44 of the greeting cards. So just one represents one thing, the other represents the other thing. We're talking about gift cards or gift bags and greeting cards. Here's our second one from yesterday. Okay, so a company sells brass and steel machine parts. One shipment contains 3 brass and 10 steel parts and costs $48. So I want you guys to see if before I tell you what the equation is, blank x plus blank y equals a total amount of blank. So what would that look like? 3 brass, 10 steel, $48. Any ideas on what that equation would look like? Yes, absolutely. Great job. So you guys are already getting the hang of that. So 10 or 3x plus 10y is equal to the 48. And then the other one, it says 7 brass, 4 steel, total of 54. So 7x, 4y equals 54. 7x plus 4y is equal to 54. Just like that. Okay. So do any of our numbers match up? Like the x's, are they the same? No, my y's, those aren't the same. So I can't just multiply one by something to get it to turn into the other. So for this one, that's why I told you I'm going to show you guys how to solve it by graphing, because there are some times where we can't actually do that first step of multiplying one of the equations. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my Desmos graphing calculator, and I'm going to type both of those equations in. And if you took notes on page 37, you might already know how this is going to work. So 3x plus 10y is equal to 48. And then it was 7x plus 4y is equal to 54. So this is supposed to be 4y, I believe. Yeah, okay. So here's what the graphs look like. Does anybody remember from page 37 what our solution is? Where the lines intersect. So there's a quick way to check your solution. If you're struggling with the elimination part, graph the two equations and find the intersection point, and guess what? That's our answer. So our solution is 6, 3. So this one was very quick. because all we had to do was solve it by graphing, since we couldn't multiply a number by anything to turn our variables in to be eliminated. Okay, so we have admission and 9 rides cost $51. So how many people did she pay the admission for? Because it doesn't really tell us. Just one person, right? She just paid for her ticket. She also paid for 9 rides. So this one is going to be 1x plus 9y is equal to our total of $51. So that one was a little tricky because it doesn't tell us the one. We're just assuming that she's paying for one person to get in there, and she's also paying for 9 rides, and she spent $51. Okay, so then the second one is Katie pays $39 for admission and 6 rides. So Katie pays for her own admission. She only pays for one person. She pays for 6 rides, and her total is $39. So it's going to be 1x plus 6y is equal to 39. Already the same, we don't have to multiply by anything. We're going to go straight to subtracting our equations. So those cancel. Go ahead and cross those out. That's good. We purposefully want those numbers to be the same. Then we have to do 9 minus 6. What's 9 minus 6? 3y. And then we have to do 51 minus 39, which when I put that in the calculator, that's 12. And I have to do the opposite of multiply by 3, which is divide by 3. And this could be quick math. Y should equal 12 divided by 3, 4. So there's our first variable. Now I just need to go back to one of my original equations, substitute the 4 in for the y. So we have 1x plus 9, and then instead of y, we're going to put a 4. Oh, that's an ugly 4, sorry. That's equal to 51. So 9 times 4 is 36. So I have 1x plus 36 is equal to 51. Opposite of add 36 is subtract. So subtract 36. And when I plug that into the calculator, I get 15. So x equals 15. Technically, since that 1 is kind of invisible, that's why I didn't write it there. So technically there's a 1 there, but if I divide by 1, it still stays 15. So I don't technically have to write that 1. So our solution, let's write our solution out really quick. Our solution is the x number first, so 15, and then 4. All right? So I think for the most part, we've got the hang of writing the equation. So if we can at least write the equations, if we're still struggling on the elimination part, we can always graph it if those numbers are not the same. All right?